I know you are a busy man, so want to jump into it since it's my first time talking to you since you've been Senator Warnock. How have the first 2 months been? I know you weren't there before, but how's the atmosphere in Washington now?
First of all, let me say how deeply honored I am to represent the people of Georgia in the United States Senate. Georgia sent a powerful message to the rest of the nation, electing me and John Ossoff to the Senate. And it is because of those elections that we were able to push through historic legislation in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And so for those who are struggling, for working families all across Georgia, I want you to know that relief is around the corner. Help is on the way. We hear you. We've taken your concerns to the seat of our government, and you're going to see in just a short while the difference that that made.
I know you kind of hinged your campaign on I'm going to be for every Georgian. And like you just said, a lot of people said this bill hinged on getting you and Senator Ossoff to Washington. So how does it feel to make good on your campaign promise to be able to deliver this aid to Georgians?
Well, we said during the campaign that if you sent us to Washington, D.C., we would make sure that there was direct relief that would go directly into the pockets of working families and ordinary people. We've made good on that promise. We will see those checks coming soon. The House has passed the Senate version of the bill. The President will sign it soon. But in addition to that, the earned income tax credit, the child tax credit, will literally cut child poverty in this country in half. We are providing relief for small businesses and relief to our schools so that they can safely reopen and our children can once again find themselves sitting in desks safely so that they can experience the kind of learning that I think happens best in person.
I know you said we promise that. Personally, how does it make you feel? I mean, this is big with just 2 months on the job.
Yeah, I'm deeply honored. I'm talking to folks who've been here a long time, and they've said that this is one of the most significant pieces of legislation that has passed in a generation. And so to be a part of that is the honor of my life. And I just feel very blessed that I get to get up every day and to spend my waking hours thinking about how to be helpful to my neighbors in Georgia. So thank you for this honor.
And I do want to talk about the small businesses, the child tax credits as well. So I do want to get into that. But I do have to ask, Governor Kemp has come out and said this bill is not great for Georgians because we have been open for so long. Can you talk about that? Can you respond to that? How much money is Georgia getting from this bill compared to other states?
We're talking about $8 billion to the state government and other municipalities in Georgia. We're talking about $1,400 checks and direct payment to folks. We're talking about $4 billion to help Georgia schools to reopen safely, $20 billion across the country to help us distribute the vaccine. I'm not sure who he's talking to, but the small business owners that I'm running into, the ordinary folks who are just trying to make it, who have lost their jobs due to no fault of their own, I think they need this relief. And I think that if the governor is really concerned about the people of Georgia, he will take the $2 billion that I and John Ossoff made sure would be in this bill to help Georgia finally expand Medicaid. Georgia now has more than enough resources with the $2 billion in this bill because of our advocacy to expand Medicaid. There's no reason why we should leave 500,000 Georgians in the Medicaid gap. That is a blow to them, and it is a blow to the Georgia economy. And if the governor is serious, he would expand Medicaid.
Do you know how we compare to states of similar size? We got $8 billion. Do you know what other states got
We got a lot more than we got during the last aid under the Trump administration.
50 million of that is going to small businesses. We do know last time small businesses got money, a lot of minority businesses were not included in that. So can you tell us how this is going to be equitable or equally spread out?
Great question. So you're right. During the last package under the Trump administration, small businesses found themselves at the back of the line, while large conglomerates like Shake Shack found themselves at the front of the line. So what we did in this bill is we put 12, I think a total of $15 billion over in the credit union space, so that CDFIs and others that primarily work with small businesses, minority businesses, the money has been placed there so that we will ensure that small businesses, minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses get their fair share.
Oh, good. I know Central Georgia, we're talking heart of Georgia. We have a lot of rural areas in our area. These child tax credits, there's a lot of money going to it. I believe it was 360 million. I will have to get with you about the numbers. But how will this help these kids living in poverty? How will these child tax credits help?
Oh, it's direct aid to struggling families, to working families. You know, under the old version of the child tax credit, the earned income tax credit, there were families that were too poor to get aid. And so you had a situation in which a family that made $80,000 a year got more relief than a family that made $18,000 a year. So that's not right. It doesn't make sense. It's not good public policy. So we expanded the tax credit so that ordinary folks will, again, in their pockets, right in their family budget, will have the kind of aid and relief that they need. A child under 5 years old, $3,600 tax credit. You ask ordinary folks, I think $3,600 in addition to the other relief, $1,400 per individual making under $75,000 a year. That makes a difference in the lives of ordinary people.
What difference are you hoping these child tax credits can do for Central Georgia families, make for Central Georgia families?
Well, you know, there are 170,000 Georgian children who are going to be taken out of poverty because of this. So I think that makes a huge difference. And as someone who grew up a poor kid in public housing, I know personally the difference that this kind of relief makes as we stabilize just the day-to-day living conditions of children. The ability of people to keep a roof over their heads. $550 million is in this package to help Georgians stay in their homes. That is huge. It creates the kind of stability for a child to learn. When there's a roof over their head, when they're able to eat, they're not dealing with issues of food insecurity. It is impossible, really, to state adequately the importance of that in the life of our children.
Absolutely. I want to talk about schools and vaccines.
And this is going to be the last question.
Okay, then we'll just talk about vaccines because that is what is on everybody's mind. 20 billion for vaccinations. Now we know Georgia is at the bottom of the country for vaccine rollout right now. How will this money help? How can we get Georgia up to the level of other states?
Well, you know, you've got to have the resources in order to do it, which is why we put $20 billion in this bill for vaccine distribution. The president has already said that by May, we'll have enough vaccines for every adult in the country. And that those prospects seem to improve every week. And so, look, this virus is not going to magically disappear, as I think I heard a man say a year ago. We have to be vigilant. We have to be focused, and we have to be smart. And this is government doing the thing that government ought to do. This is a global pandemic, and it requires a serious and robust response. And already we're seeing the benefit of that. I know that for the people who are struggling and waiting, for the families of well over 500,000 Americans who have died, the vaccine can't come soon enough. But again, relief is around the corner, help is on the way.
Anything else about the rescue plan that you would like Georgians to know, especially Central Georgians?
I'm proud that my own bill, the Relief for Farmers of Color, is a part of this larger bill. And part of what COVID-19 did was it illuminated and exacerbated longstanding disparities, both economic and health disparities in our country. And so I spent a lot of time in rural Georgia. And so you will see, both in terms of a bill like the Farmers of Color Relief Bill, but also other parts of this bill will be very helpful to working families.